adventure, sports, outdoors. With host Harry Canterbury.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again, just like it happened so many times before.
Hi, Harry Canterbury with another edition of Adventure Sports Outdoors. Just got back from Florida, spent 4 months down there, and saw a lot of things and did a lot of things. Did some fishing and went to a place where they rehabilitate wild animals. It's at the Ponce de Leon Park near Punta Gorda. And the lady was very kind to take us and show us animals that most people don't even get to see. We also went out in the Gulf of Mexico. We caught some fish. And we also went to a place where supposedly Jimmy Buffett was inspired to write the song Cheeseburger in Paradise. So we got a great show, a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield, Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Mike O'Brien, Remax Commercial, Traders Unlimited Commercial. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. And by JL Logging Keenan Edwards, buyers of timber and cut logs, specializing in walnut and white oak veneer. Our thanks to all of these sponsors. The 2017 Sunny Hill Sporting Clay event, Saturday, May 6th at Oak Ridge Sportsman's Club in Mackinac.
In Florida, there's a lot of things to do. This gave me an opportunity to go see where injured animals, owls, turtles, flamingos, pelicans, things that are, natural to the Florida area, are brought after an injury. A lot of these animals hit high lines, they're hit by cars, cats will get up in a nest and knock out, baby birds, and they bring them all there. They bring over 2,000 animals a year to this rehabilitation center. And I really admire the hard work that all these people do, and most of them are volunteers. Callie has been working at the rehabilitation center for about 9 years. And when she first started, she would take birds home and bond with the birds. And they know her. They never forget her. And it was really kind of neat walking in there and watch this big barred owl take a look at her and just light up, and getting to see that that was his mother, because that's what he thinks she is. And it was quite amazing to see the reaction of a human being and an animal know each other.
So my name's Callie. I am the executive director of the Peace River Wildlife Center. And we have been here in the Ponce de Leon Park in Punta Gorda, Florida since 1983. And we have been rehabilitating our local native wildlife ever since. For the animals that we're unable to release because their injuries are so severe, we will make a home for them here or find another facility that's licensed to house them. And these guys serve as education for us. It's really big for us to educate the public about these beautiful animals that we live with and how to kind of live harmoniously with them. Ideally, we would love to work ourselves out of a job one day and not have to treat any injured animals. But unfortunately, that's unlikely. But we do the best that we can with what we've got, and we just enjoy the heck out of what we do here.
So this is my baby. This is my second child, as I call her. This is Bella. She is a great horned owl, and she is the second bird that I glove trained. And she is now training our wonderful volunteer Barb how to handle her.
And she is another example of what not to do with wildlife. She was hand-raised by people and imprinted, and when she was released, she had no idea how to take care of herself. When she got hungry or lonely, she sought out people to help resolve that. So she does live with us here, and she goes to schools and serves as one of our educational ambassadors, and is just doing wonderfully at it.
Tell us about what we have here.
This is Maggie. She's a barred owl, and she came into rehab this summer. She had an injured wing, and I got her to see how well she would fly in the aviary. And I went in one day after about a week, and the wing was hanging down. I took her back to the vet, and the vet said at that point she couldn't be released because she had so much muscle damage in where the muscle was attached from the body to the wing. So she now cannot be released. And at that point, she was a surrogate mother to a baby barred owl that I had gotten in. And we successfully released that baby into the wild. And then we got the permits and started glove training Maggie to be a glove-trained educational bird.
Spirit was hand-raised, so she's perfectly healthy but imprinted. And she is quite smart. She can say hi. She quacks like a duck and barks like a dog, don't you? You're going to make your baby noise? No. So this is our Pelican Pond area of the Wildlife Center. It's an open air area where we have we allow our injured pelicans, cormorants to come out, our sandhill cranes, and they get to cruise around the pond all day. We do have a lot of fly-in animals that come in mooching food. I think once
visit.
Yeah, exactly. They all tell their friends. So, and as you can see, anybody with a bucket has best friends following them wherever they go. We do make a point to just feed our residents, though. We don't encourage feeding wildlife. It makes them lazy, and they have plenty of food out there in the wild to sustain themselves sufficiently.
Now what do we have here?
So these are sandhill cranes. We have two that currently live here with us. The one in front is Maleficent, and she has earned that name. She gets a little crazy during nesting season. She'll lay eggs and definitely is a very protective mother. The other guy behind her is actually named Chicky Pants. Don't ask me where we come up with these names.
I'm sure a little girl or somebody.
Actually, yes, our rehabber, the little girl, our rehabber. He was found incidentally. We'd gone out on a call for a baby sandhill crane caught in a barbed wire fence. When we arrived, there was one baby in the fence. The mother and father were there, and then little Chicky Pants. In order to see his debilitation, you'll have to get a little closer, but he has what we call a scissor beak or a scissor bill. It's a crisscross beak. And these guys, their nature of feeding is wandering around and picking little bugs and fish and lizards and things out of the ground. And since his beak is crisscrossed, he doesn't have that precision ability to pick out those little things in the wild. So this is an area that most folks don't get to see. We call it the far back. This is where we have most of our rehabilitating mammals. We raise a lot of babies, raccoons, possum, squirrel, we even have a baby bobcat right now. This area is designed to keep these animals as isolated as possible. It's essential that they are wild and scared of human beings by the time they leave here in order for them to be successful in the wild. And this is where that happens. We also have a few other birds that may be recuperating, but these are all animals that will eventually be released. And so we take special care to ensure that they stay wild. Right?
Oh, we got a visitor.
We do. What you coming to see? See, he usually comes over and picks at me and stuff. Where you going? So this is just one part of our pelican enclosure. We call this the nesting barn. Even though our animals are injured, they do go through their normal nesting cycle each year. And we are very lucky to have some excellent foster parents here at the Wildlife Center. The adult pelicans that you see, the brown pelicans, they're the ones that are primarily gray with the white heads. But if you look towards the back, you'll see three little babies that look fairly different than their foster parents. They have the light colored beaks, and they are probably, I'm going to say these guys are working on about 2.5 to 3 months of age now. When we get in these displaced babies who were unable to return to their parents, we have some animals here that we raise them with. This way they grow up knowing what type of animal they are and how to be independent and wild in the future, and they don't depend on us people to feed them and comfort them, which can create all kinds of problems for a baby bird.
So on our left, we have two black vultures. This is Stevie and Ray. Both of these guys came to us with blindness. Ray is on the ground here, and he's blind in both eyes. And Stevie, as you can see, is perching. He's lost vision in just one eye. But you can guess where the name Stevie and Ray came from, right? And it wasn't Stevie Ray Ron. Down on the ground here, to the right, we have Miss Ethel. She is a turkey vulture, and as you can see, she has a brilliantly red-colored legs and head. And it's interesting if you're able to see the difference in just their nasal passages. The turkey vulture actually has a much better sense of smell than the black vultures do, and a lot of times the black vultures will actually follow the turkey vultures to the carrion when they're looking for a meal. These are our American bald eagles. We have Bilfred and Arthur. Both of them have been here over 20 years each, and both of them have had wing amputations. Arthur, poor guy, his nest was blown out of a tree when he was just a tiny baby, and he suffered a severe injury to his wing. So he's never flown and never really lived out in the wild. Bilfred came to us as a young adult. She was found out at the landfill. A lot of people don't know that eagles are not very proud. They are happy to scavenge right alongside vultures, and our landfills are usually full of them. Sometimes we see them poisoned, and other times we see them injured, like Bilfred. She's the one on the left, the larger of the two. Again, she's a raptor, so she's typically bigger than her boyfriend.
Now, what type of turtle is
This is a peninsular cooter, which is a native species of turtle. He's had a run-in with a car. And as you can see, we have patched him back together. And any of the fractures that he suffered here, what's going on is these are holding the fractures together, and eventually over time those fractures will scar just like our skin does, but being a turtle, nothing happens very quickly. These are removable. Once the shell stabilizes and scars sufficiently, we'll just pop these off and get him back out into the wild. So sometimes we receive animals that just go right to the heart, and this little guy came into us after having fallen out of his nest, and we've all absolutely fallen in love with him in the short period of time he's been here. This is a hatchling barred owl. Hello, buddy. He's so little, you can even see his little egg tooth there at the end of his beak. Now, in an instance like this where we receive these babies that have come out of the nest, the first thing we try to do is get them back into their nest with their moms and dads. That is the most ideal way for this guy to grow up. For those that we are unable to do that, we've talked about before how we have foster parents. If we're lucky enough to have foster parents for a specific type of bird, we will put the babies with them and let them do all the hard work. For those animals that we don't have a suitable foster parent for, our rehabbers get really ingenious with how they treat these animals. It's really important that they do not see human beings feeding them. And one of the tricks that we use, as silly as it may seem, are our owl masks. Now this little guy, being a barred owl, he would be fed with this mask. Our most famous resident of all, it's a little cattle egret that we have aptly named Donald Trump because of the fantastic hairdo that he's sporting for us.
There is an on-duty veterinarian who operates and kind of monitors the health of all the creatures at the rehabilitation center. And we were allowed into the surgery room where a young squirrel that fell out of a tree as a baby and broke its right leg, and she put a splint on it, and we watched the vet do her job.
So this little guy has a fractured radius and ulna in his right front leg, and Dr. Robin is trying desperately to splint this teeny tiny itty bitty little leg.
And the operation was a success. The little guy got to live. He's a baby, and it won't be too long they'll be taking that splint off and he'll be a squirrel back in the tree again. Hey, we had a great time here at the Peace River Wildlife Center here in Punta Gorda. Callie Stahl gave us a great tour. Saw things I've never seen before, and it's a great facility. If you're in the area down here in Punta Gorda or near Fort Myers, it's a must to come see if you like wildlife.
I'm Dave Barth with your Sportsman's Tip of the Week. We've talked in the past about concealed carry handguns and self-defense handguns, but we have not talked about shotguns. A shotgun for home or for backpacking is hard to beat. You just can't hardly miss. If you're in bear country, a shotgun loaded with buckshot or slugs or something like that would be just a really good self-defense gun to have. We have a few examples of shotguns that would make a good choice for home defense. The first one here is a Mossberg. It has a collapsible stock. It's a 5-shot, 2 3/4 or 3-inch. It has a shell holder on the buttstock, and it's a pump shotgun. Pistol grip, pump shotgun. The next one in line is a Stevens. It has ghost ring sights, pistol grip, and it's also a pump. Shoots 2 3/4 or 3-inch. It's a 5-shot magazine. If you want a semi-automatic, there's many choices. This is a Benelli. It's a 12-gauge 3-inch with a Picatinny rail and ghost ring sights. And here at the other end, we have a pistol grip shotgun. It's a pump. It's got false muzzle brake here, and it's also a 5-shot, 2 3/4 or 3-inch. The last gun in line here is a Remington 870 Tactical. It has an 8-shot magazine, a Picatinny rail so you can mount optics on it, open sights, a ghost ring sight, and any of these would be a good choice. One accessory you would really want to put on any of these would be a sling. As far as ammunition, some good choices would be a buckshot, either in 2 3/4 or 3-inch, like a double-aught, number 4 buck, or even slugs. A barrel load would be like a 2 3/4 or 3-inch slug. I'm Dave Barth with your Sportsman's Tip of the Week.
We got to go to Cabbage Key. It's a very out-of-the-way place. It's privately owned, and there's a bar and restaurant there. Supposedly, Jimmy Buffett was inspired to write Cheeseburger in Paradise at this place. But it is a fabulous place. They got great cheeseburgers, and we got to see a lot of wildlife. And the turtles there are many, and we got to watch the turtles during mating season, which was quite interesting. So I think you'll enjoy this segment. The first time I went to Cabbage Key was with Dave in his boat, and he told me, he said, "This is a great place, and you will take people here just like I brought you there." And we've been out there 4 times since we got our boat, and we like to go to Cheeseburger in Paradise. It is a fabulous place on Cabbage Key. Great sandwiches, and they got a great walk that goes around the island. You can see all sorts of animals. We also saw some ospreys with babies on top of the water tower on Cabbage Key. Springtime in Florida is nothing like springtime in Illinois, but they do have a spring. And animals instinctively go mating, just like any other animal. Springtime is the time to mate. And we saw some turtles going through the ritual of mating. Quite an interesting scene. Like I said, Dave knows an awful lot about Florida. He found a place where you could dig up conch shells that have been in there for thousands of years under these tree stumps. After they fall over, you can dig in there and dig out these beautiful conch shells. You take them and put them in a bucket of bleach, and in 2 days, you've got a nice snow white conch shell. Rick, this is a pretty neat place, Cabbage Key out here in the middle of nowhere. The only way to get here is by boat. And Maritza, what do you think of it?
I love this place. It's very pretty. The food is delicious. The people are very nice. The view is amazing. We really like it.
Yeah, it's a great diversion for boaters. I mean, this is the place to come if you're anywhere near this area.
Hey, we got to enjoy some of that great fishing on the Gulf. Of course, on the Gulf of Mexico, the fishing there is tremendous. Grouper, red snapper, sharks, just all sorts of different kinds of fish. In fact, there's so many different kinds of fish, I don't know what a lot of them are. And I have to have one of the guys on there tell me what I caught. But we got a real nice little fishing segment on the Gulf of Mexico. When I was a kid, back in the 60s, we would take an occasional trip to Florida. The population at the time was less than half of what it is today. A lot of folks from New Jersey, Illinois, Michigan, New York, every other state, including Alaska, come to Florida because it's warm. And there's a lot of activity. You can fish all year long.
Have identification out on them. I think that's the gag. It's a little different color than all of them. They gotta be 24 inches. Well, he's definitely shy 24. About 13.
Got 24-inch fish, big fish.
Copy.
Well, that's a nice looking fish.
Pretty.
Yeah.
He'll go good in the skillet.
Yeah, he will.
He looks good in the skillet. You hear him?
He's running.
A little bit heavier. Oh, don't put your finger in that mouth, Mike. Oh, I see those teeth. Yeah. Oh, he hooked himself in everything. Another grunt. Yeah. See his teeth?
Oh my goodness, it's got teeth on them like a human.
And they snap down. I think it'd take your finger off.
They're okay to eat, huh?
Some of them have a poison sac up here. You just got to be careful of that. I don't know if this one does or not.
So you just don't mess with them, be safe.
No, it's small.
Yeah.
A bigger one, rabbit fish. I'll clean them. They're very good. There are a lot of nice grunts here.
And as fish go, or what do they taste like? Chicken?
Mild white meat. Kind of colorful. All the fish out here look almost like aquarium fish.
They're pretty, aren't they?
This one's got, if you grunts and over another, they got a red mouth.
Oh, yeah.
a huge sand perch. Squirrel fish.
Let's take a look at that. Now tell me about the squirrel fish.
Looks almost like an up north perch.
Yeah.
Except for the blue. Nice white flesh. Not a lot on it. It's very good bait. The groupers love them. Oh, that's one I put on. Another one of these. And they're voracious. They go after almost anything. Don't like them all. Yeah, well, excited. He's a grouper. But he ain't gonna keep a grouper. Pretty sure it's a gag grouper. It's yanking it back down. Turn it. A little grouper. So there are groupers there. Even with the sand perch. Their swim bladder inflates and sometimes they can't swim back down.
Oh.
You used to have to puncture the swim bladder, but they don't do that anymore. Perfect sandwich size, but 10 inches short.
Tell us a little bit about those fish. Have got to be how big now?
20.
20 inches.
Twice that size.
That's a pretty big fish. Well, I tell you what, look at the size of his mouth. Look at that. That's a grunt.
That's a grunt. They kind of oink when you get them up.
Yeah.
This one I looked up. I don't remember what he is.
Huh.
You know, you catch 6 fish, he's just likely have 6 different fishes.
Look like an angel-fish, don't he? Out of an aquarium.
Yeah. Well, that's what he catches and oh gee, now I got to get an aquarium. Why don't I whack them off and you clean them up? All right. Deal.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield, Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Mike O'Brien, Remax Commercial, Traders Unlimited Commercial. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. And by JL Logging Keenan Edwards, buyers of timber and cut logs, specializing in walnut and white oak veneer. Our thanks to all of these sponsors. The 2017 Sunny Hill Sporting Clay event, Saturday, May 6th at Oak Ridge Sportsman's Club in Mackinac.
Hey, it was great to be in Florida. I had a wonderful time. I'm going to spend my winters down there as an old guy. Don't like the ice and snow, but I do love Illinois. My family's been here for almost 200 years, and I can't leave Illinois permanently, but I really love to go to Florida in the winter. Next month, we're going to do some crappie fishing and do some mushroom hunting. And at the end of the show here, you're going to see what 100 pounds of mushrooms looks like, picked by 2 guys. And I'll bet they were tired. It's unbelievable. I sent the pictures out to many of my friends, and they all called me and said, when are you going to have us over for dinner? Well, I said, well, they're not my mushrooms. But I'll tell you what, they really look great.